Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic, where we're taking a look at another Transformers Titans Returns character, and I can think of no one better than the leader of the Decepticons, Galvetron. Now I will admit that I really do like this figure. He's a nice, loving homage and a good upgrade to the original Generation 1 version of Galvetron. Yeah, they would attempt different versions of him in the past, where the body sculpt would be pretty good, but the paint scheme would be off, or vice versa. Or they would just take a existing version of Megatron, paint and give him a new paint scheme, and title him as Galvetron. I'm looking at you, Transformers Armada Megatron. Ugh. Now, even though this guy is pretty good, he does have a few flaws. Mainly the tank treads on his elbows right here. Just because of their placement and their size, it does limit his bicep swivel right here. You can see they just get in the way of his chest. So it does limit some of his posability. Next up is, I guess, just the placement of his gun. This is just more of a slight nitpick on my part. Yeah, to a glance, it does look Generation 1 accurate. However, it was originally placed on his forearm right here, and I wish they actually added a little hole right here to pop it on rather than just the forearm. Just because it's just me, it's just my OCD. I just wish it would have been a little bit more accurate. Next up is the actual crown right here for his chest. Don't get me wrong, it looks great, but because of how it's built onto him, it's part of his chest right here as I guess a auto transformation feature. I don't really know why they added that. But because of how it's permanently attached to the chest, if you try to move his head around to pose it, it just looks a little weird and silly. As you can see, it doesn't quite line up. So if you want to have him displayed perfectly, he always has to be looking forward. You can actually take it and permanently put it in there to have him look around like this. But because the head is, the little Titans Return guy is solid gray, it looks a little bit more like Megatron than Galvetron. They could have added a little bit of purple paint scheme right here on the crown, just to help sell that Galvetron look for if you don't want to use the auto transformation feature, but that's about it. Another little cool thing about him is, I will say, get to the positives, is the actual little cavity right here on his forearm gun. You can take other Titan Return characters, transform him, and get him sitting right in there, and now he can become a target master. So if Galvetron needs a little bit of extra assistance in actually taking down or aiming with that Autobots, and I guess you can consider that being an extra barrel right there on his gun. It does make it look a little bit silly with it being so top heavy when you actually fold it around like this, but I guess it's kind of okay. It's kind of neat that they added that little feature in there. Anyways, try to get that guy out. Now, as far as his articulation goes, he has a nice shoulder joint right here. It's on a nice tight ratchet, so you don't think it's going to wear out anytime soon. And his shoulder pads are hinged, so you can actually pose them pretty good, other than the aforementioned bicep swivel. Yeah. He has a nice double jointed elbow bend right here, so you can actually pretend that he's actually swigging back some Energon drink if you really wanted to. A little bit of a wrist articulation right here, but that's really more to his transformation if anything else, but yeah, I'm still going to count it. I'm going to get his gun out of the way right here. Now, he does have a little bit of a waist articulation. It's also part of his transformation, and this piece could get in the way a little bit, but not too much, so you can actually pose him side to side if you really wanted to. He has some nice hip articulation as well. They're not ratcheted as much as his shoulders, so I'm afraid that they will get worn down over time if I'm not careful. I really need to get some floor polish in there to really tighten some of these parts up. Is a nice thigh swivel, a knee bend, and a little bit of an ankle tilt right here, so if you really want to pose him like kind of off on the side. I will say that because of his transformation, the ankles are a little weak, but like I said, a little bit of floor polish or something, you can actually tighten that up. All in all, he's actually pretty good in robot mode, so let's go ahead and try to transform him into his cannon mode. Alright, now to transform Galvetron here, I'm going to start off by removing his arm cannon, and then taking his chest, opening it up, and we're going to hide his little head crest out of the way like so. Next, we're going to move his head all together, and then move his shoulder pads up like this. After that, we're going to take his hands and rotate them into his forearms. And then take his forearms and bend and rotate them up. You're going to see this little peg right here that's going to fit into this little slot right there. Now, for some reason on mine, this arm doesn't really want, or that little peg doesn't want to fit on that slot all that well on that arm, and it keeps popping off mid-transformation. So if I have to constantly readjust it and put it back, just forgive me. Next, I'm going to take his arms and rotate them all the way up like so. Then take his tank treads, move them up. There we go. After that, I'm going to take the cockpit of his later jet mode, just rotate that up out of the way, move this little panel down, and rotate his hips all the way around like so. And I can just move this back down. After that, I'm going to take the sides of his chest, rotate them back. These are going to be the supports for his cannon mode. And then we're going to take this panel that we had earlier and just use that to cover up his old six-pack. After that, we're going to, oh, almost forgot, got to take these panels, rotate them all the way around. Then we're going to take his legs, move them, get them into this position, and the knees are going to bend back just a little bit like so, so that we can actually hide most of the legs right up here into his shins. Okay, oh, and we got to make sure that his feet get folded inside. We're just going to keep rotating those around and make sure that this little peg fits right in this little slot on both sides. There we go. Alright, now one more important thing is we got to take this little piece right here and fold this out, and there's a little slot right there that's going to fit on this little notch right there. And that's just supposed to give it some extra support when he's in his cannon mode. After that, we're going to take his gun, rotate this piece all the way around like so, and then rotate this piece back like this. And this little peg is going to fit right in that little hole right in there. And there you go, you have Galvetron now in his cannon mode, ready to take out Starscream. Here's a hint. All in all, I actually really like his cannon mode. It's not completely like the original Generation 1 version of his cannon, but I think it's a nice upgrade, and I think I prefer this one just a little bit better to the original toy. I was able to find the original toy someplace at a swap meet. It's missing a lot of parts, so I do have a little bit of something to compare it to. I just wasn't able to get it out for this particular review. Another little cool feature is these little pegs right here on his were his feet. You could actually take any of the little Titans Returns characters and have them standing right in there, so it's like they're actually riding, or if you have them like right here, like he's actually kind of watching where Galvatron's going to be blasting away at Starscream or any other Autobots that might be attacking him. Now, Galvatron here is a triple changer, so he does have one more alternate mode after this, so let's get him into his supposed jet mode. Alright, now to get Galvatron here into his jet mode, I'm going to take his shoulder pads, move them out of the way so I can remove his gun. Then we're going to take the cockpit, move that all the way up and around, and you can just go ahead and move his shoulder pads back like so. Next, I'm going to take what was the support for his cannon mode, move that back, and it's going to become the new tail fin. After that, I'm going to take the sides of his chest, rotate them up like so. And we could just go ahead and move his arms back and get his tank treads down here, almost like we're getting him right back into robot mode. After that, we're going to take his legs and separate them. However, rather than extending them all the way out, we're going to want to rotate them up, and you can see a little triangular peg right here that's going to fit into a little triangular slot right there. There we go. Get that on either side. There we go. Okay, and then after that, we can go ahead and take his gun. We're going to slide this piece back like so. Going to move this piece out, and we're going to actually want to move this part down like so. It's going to become a new landing gear for him, and we're just going to want to get this little peg right in that slot right there. There we go. Make sure it doesn't fold in on you. Oh, and you know what? While we're at it, I'm just going to move these out of the way so I can actually open up the cockpit, and we're going to get his little Titans Return guy right here into the cockpit so it can actually kind of pilot Galvatron here, and there you go. He's now in his Cybertronian jet mode, and the landing gear works okay, I guess, which is kind of weird because they also have some little what look like extra landing gears back here that don't actually fit on anything. In my opinion, this jet mode is a little weird looking, just because you can tell that these are the legs right back here and it doesn't really hide all that much. It looks kind of okay from the front, or if you want to have it kind of at an angle like this, but if you have it completely from the top or from the back, it just doesn't really do anything. I don't know if you're supposed to have the feet out like this to be jets or what. In my opinion, this isn't my favorite mode for him. It's kind of the weakest out of the three, with the robot mode being the best, and then his cannon alt mode being the second one. This just seems like an extra feature that they decide to tack on just to give them an extra little feature of some sort. It's not that bad. I mean, it doesn't really take away from the figure or should keep you from buying it if you're actually interested, because you do have those two other modes that are actually pretty good. It's just, I guess, an extra little bit of flavor that they decide to add in on the character. All in all, though, he's pretty good, and yeah, there's not really much else to say. So this has been a look at Transformers Titans Returns Galvetron.
Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.